Developer brain rot has taken over the video gaming industry. And what do I mean by that? I feel like developers are being convinced to destroy the industry that they're working in. There's no better example than the Godot controversy that's happening with this game engine that is attacking its own developers to make a stand for no other reason than to have a political stand. This is the situation we've been seeing in the video game industry for a long time, where we see these developers that are sacrificing their business, their overall reputation to make a political stand that ultimately destroys the entirety of their company. And this is something we saw with big AAA companies. This is something we're seeing with multiple organizations within the industry, whether it's news reporters or industry insiders, where they're ruining their reputation to support this ideology that is above and beyond anything that is related to video gaming. This is represented specifically by the Godot engine, which is a developing engine that is much maligned and has its own problems, but it's sticking out for a political agenda that doesn't serve it any other purpose than pushing its ideology into its supporters and customer base. And I think that's the situation that we're seeing spring about within the industry, where your politics are more important than the survivability of your company, because for some reason there's a value in putting out your political agenda and trying to influence the gaming industry. And I think the Godot engine itself is showing that is the case, where they just came out and attacked their developers, blocking, banning them, putting out their political stance, where they say apparently game engines are woke now. Well, then we won't complain, basically, because that's what we are. And if you are against us, we're gonna attack you, ban you, remove all your works on our servers. And it's just like this weird maniacal sense of control that they want to have over their customer base, when the customer base can obviously go somewhere else and do the work using an even better engine. So it's a weird case that we're seeing, where developers, where companies, where businesses are sacrificing the overall customer base to serve a master that doesn't really bring about profit because they're such a minority. And I think that's the thing that we're looking at right here, where these companies, these developers are so entrenched in an ideology, they're willing to destroy their own company in order to serve this ideology. And I think that is a dangerous position to have, especially you have people working on your engine, you have a whole business structured around an engine, and you're willing to sacrifice that customer base surrounding your engine in order to uphold this ideology that you don't even understand yourself. And I think when you talk about these political situations with these people, they don't even understand the ideology themselves. They're just there to support it because that is the groupthink and mindset at the moment. And I think that's the situation we're seeing play out with the Godot engine, where it is this sort of situation where they're attacking titanium high level backers that are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars based on their political opinion or just lack thereof, where they're saying, why are you talking about politics? And they block you instantly. And it goes down to the people that they're hiring, the community managers that have all been crazy. If you've seen the video game development sphere, where community managers for Helldivers 2, community managers for a multitude of other games are always attacking the gamers, because the people they're hiring are people that don't really understand games, don't care about games, are more focused on a political end of the spectrum. And you can see this with the Godot engine and their community manager, who came out and attacked the fans. You can just look at their page and they have all the modern day political, progressive, ideological stamps on their profile, and it's just listed right there, where you can automatically see what type of person they are and how they're going to respond to anything that you say that is not in line with their political philosophy. They have multiple flags of other nations, they have multiple LGBTQ representation icons, and of course this person has a little bit of more unhinged look about them. I don't know about the knife and broccoli, maybe they're a vegetarian, but who knows what the code signs for some of these people. So it is kind of a strange bedfellow to have within your industry, a person that seems clearly ideologically unhinged and is there to attack the gamer base and the player base. And it seems like the Godot engine executives and CEO are backing them, and I feel like even if they are against her ideology, they can't back out of it now because they already hired her. So you have to support her, or you're gonna get a lawsuit with this type of person, or this type of person with this type of ideology, because that's what they know how to do, to be a victim. And I think this is a situation you put yourself in a hard place when you're with this person that is gonna attack you if you attack them, and you can't get rid of them. And I think this is what happened with Helldivers 2 and the other community managers, where you don't know if you can get rid of them because they're gonna attack you. But there's a multitude of people like this for for the Godot engine, where everyone is a pronoun carrying, rainbow flag, Ukraine, Palestinian flag wearing person, and you can't fire them because they have the legal right to attack and sue you backwards. And I think that's the situation we're seeing with Godot to a larger extent, where they're trapped by the ideological prison that they've set themselves in. And this is the situation a lot of companies are finding themselves in, where they're hiring these people to fill up these DEI quotas. Now these people have been ticking time bombs within their own company, where they're destroying the company within, and if they fire them, they're going to come back and attack their company and mire them in lawsuits, even though they may lose. Still, you're going to be stuck in lawsuits with a person that is willing to put out lies, cheat, and attack your company in any way possible. These people have no moral standards in their ideology. They're willing to lie and obfuscate the truth in order to burn down your organization. And I think this is the result of having this ideological trap within your company, where you're trapped in this thought and philosophy can be turned against you to ruin your entire company. And this is what we're seeing develop with companies that do hire them. We saw this happen with Helldivers 2, the developer, where they willingly had to burn down their entire player base to serve a community manager that was actively attacking the fan base. And I think this has happened with Godot engine as well. And I think probably the people within the Godot engine really believe this philosophy as well, and they're trapped in the ideological prison that they set themselves in as well. But this is a situation we've been seeing all throughout the industry so far, where people are trapped in their own ideological prisons that are setting them up for failure. We see this with the influence of DEI all across the world, especially Japan, where they're getting put into this prison where they have to follow this ideology because the US government is pushing it onto them, and then they have to reach censorship standards that are restricting the creativity and freedom of the creators of these games. And I think that complaint is very real, because these prisons are being set up ideologically for a lot of these companies, where they're trying to buy in to this Western philosophy, but once you do, you're going to be trapped and put in a position where you can't get rid of the people that are destroying your company. And I think the end result is the massive failures that we're seeing right now, specifically Concord, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Kill the Justice League, where we're getting poor quality content and overall disastrous results for the companies that are producing that content. And we're seeing the opposite for companies that are doing the opposite thing. We saw with Shift Up and Stellar Blade, a massive successful title that pushed over 1 million units of PS5s being sold and made a large profit, and made the company itself a big billion-dollar publicly owned company, and that's now on the stock exchange. So there are massive successes outside of this, but these companies can't look forward to them because they're trapped in this ideological prison that is forcing them to produce content that is to the contrary of the customer base, and that is to contrary to the developers themselves. And I think we're seeing more games break away from this prison, especially Eastern games. They're doing more of their own thing, and they're being rewarded by having massively successful titles. And I think we're going to see more of that from the Eastern block of gaming. But whatever happens in the Western world, it's going to be a very tense situation, because we have these people within these companies that are trapping these companies in this ideological philosophy, because if they break away from it, they're going to be attacked, they're going to be lied about, they're going to be smeared. And if you do stand tall with this philosophy, like the Godot Foundation managers are doing, which they're sticking closely by their moderators, by the people that are attacking, blocking their biggest backers, the biggest supporters, blocking everyone that is paying money for this engine, that are trying to financially support this company. They're being blocked and excommunicated. I don't know how a company can survive if you're blocking your biggest funders and backers, but this is the ideological prison that they've found themselves in, where they have to follow this philosophy to its ultimate end, and its ultimate end is bankruptcy and joblessness. And we see this all throughout the gaming industry, and unfortunately it seems like the Godot engine is going to lead towards that end. But that is the choice they made, and there's no future for people that are ultimately dedicated to nothing creative and interesting. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. You tell me what you think about the Godot Foundation sticking by its moderators, sticking by its community that is being actively destroyed by activists. And you can't break away from the activists, or the activists will try to destroy you. It's kind of a dangerous parasitic situation this company has found themselves in, and I don't think they have a way out, because they probably believe in the progressive activist things as well, even to the detriment of their entire company, which is crazy, but just shows the true brain rot in the video gaming development space, at least in the Western world. But you tell me your thoughts on the situation. I'd like to hear your conclusions. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.